No, I actually see. The thing is, look, take for example the crucifixion parallel,
Hmm.
right? Okay, once you're in a sequence, you have to stay within the order of events that are occurring in both texts. In that system within Josephus, I only have, I mean, I would estimate like 400 words or something to find in terms of his, use of the sequence of events in
Hmm.
Titus's ministry. I only have 400 words to find the parallel.
Hmm.
I mean, that's it. I don't have it
Yeah.
like, 2 or 3 chapters to go through and pick something out. I only have 400 or 500 words. I have to generate the parallel that is within this tiny area that Josephus has outlined as being where, if in the overall sequence parallels, where the Gospels event occurs, and now it's supposed to be in Josephus if the parallel does exist. And if you do that, and you just take out my analysis, and you just go, well, where does Schoenfeld's Josephus crucifix parallel occur? It hits right on the button. It is
Hmm.
exactly within the text area that you would have to have it to be maintaining the sequence.
Hmm.
So, I mean, it is in terms of tea leaf reading. This is hilarious because the fact is, I have the only rigorous methodology. You read like people who muse on the different relationships, and they have basically all of the Old Testament literature to go through to find these relationships into the,
Hmm.
the gospel. They've got
Hmm.
like hundreds and hundreds, pages of
Hmm.
text. Man, I only have a few. I have to generate my understanding, my connections within a methodologically determined
Hmm.
system, and
Hmm.
it's tiny. I don't have all of
Yeah.
literature to course through and find something that makes sense to me as a parallel. So this is why I would say the sequence that links Jesus's ministry to Titus Flavius's campaign.
Hmm.
Once you understand the system of typology, it really is. I don't want to say it's self-evident, but it's pretty close. And anyone who spends any kind of time trying to falsify my analysis or just to understand the typology, they'll
Hmm.
recognize, yeah, this is correct. And this is really a kind of birthright for
Hmm.
Western civilization
Hmm.
inhabitants, because this gives us the truth
Hmm.
about the origin of this religion, which had so much influence over our culture. We really
Yes.
need to know this. And it's
Yeah.
also, look, when I brought out the book, I was a little tortured because I was thinking, there's going to be a lot of Christians that'll read this
Hmm.
work and will have a negative effect in their life. They will be losing their faith, perhaps,
Hmm.
or bringing it into question. This could be unpleasant. There are people who are mentally fragile. Do I really want to
Yes,
do
exactly.
this?
Hmm.
Um, and but and that's why I didn't bring out the analysis for years. I had just kind of solved it as a puzzle that I was curious in, and I had no idea I was going to write a book about it. But I realized I really did need to do this because, this birthright business. I was saying, this is something people should understand. But now I'll tell you the truth. I'm delighted that I did, because you can see that what the real meaning of like Caesar's Messiah is not, some kind of religious, denunciation. What it really is, it's a revelation of propaganda uses by oligarchs. This is what
Yes.
it is.
Yes.
This is what
Hmm.
Caesar's Messiah is. It's not even, I mean, it gets lumped into Christian scholarship and in that little world. And it's, I mean, a reasonable idea, but the real meaning of it is that the oligarchs are sophisticated in terms of their control of their subjects. They use propaganda, very sophisticated mind control. And I would say that whereas the Flavians had a level of sophistication and capacity to keep their subjects enthralled,
Hmm.
the current oligarch class has many more tools. They just
Yes.
have
Yes.
so many tools to create basically mental slavery,
Hmm.
that the citizens have to generate. their own improvement to be able to keep democracy in existence.
Hmm.
So I would say Caesar's Messiah is a boost to that process because it just creates skepticism about historical narrative. You can't just believe stories that are told about history,
Hmm.
because the media or the government or someone gets on TV and says, the people who think, that the collapse of Building 7 seems suspicious or
Hmm.
conspiracy theorists,
Hmm. Yeah.
you just can't live your life with that mindset. You have to be more skeptical. You have to develop skepticism, and you have to develop basically what I was referred to as the Socratic method. You've got to be
Hmm.
very careful about accepting as real
Hmm.
things that are told to you as
Hmm.
being historical events, without scrutinizing them for having the capacity to be simply propaganda for the purpose of controlling you.